Here's a shocking reality check. Trump's latest immigration bombshell could end up devastating American businesses more than it helps American workers. The weekend that shook Silicon Valley. Trump's H-1B visa earthquake last Friday delivered a seismic shock that sent ripples through corporate boardrooms from San Francisco to Bangalore. President Donald Trump dropped a policy nuclear bomb, hiking H-1B skilled worker visa fees to an eye-watering $100,000, representing up to a 5,000% increase that left industry leaders scrambling for damage control. The immediate aftermath resembled a corporate disaster movie. Tech giants frantically advised employees against international travel. Panicked overseas professionals rushed to book emergency flights back to the United States. And immigration attorneys worked around the clock to decipher the implications of this unprecedented policy shift. But here's where it gets controversial. By Saturday, the White House was already backpedaling, issuing clarifications that the astronomical fee would only apply to fresh applicants as a one-time payment. Yet even with this modification, the policy effectively slams shut a talent pipeline that has been America's secret competitive weapon for 3 decades. Why this matters more than you think. The Indian connection. For those unfamiliar with the H-1B landscape, here's what most people don't realize. Indian professionals absolutely dominate this program, capturing over 70% of all approvals in recent years. Chinese applicants trail far behind at roughly 12%, making India the undisputed king of skilled worker immigration to America. The transformation this program created is nothing short of remarkable. In India, the H-1B visa became the ultimate social elevator, transforming small-town software developers into dollar-earning global citizens, catapulting entire families into middle-class prosperity, and spawning industries that cater exclusively to this new jet-setting demographic. And this is the part most people miss. The United States benefited enormously from this arrangement. Today, Indian-born executives helm technology giants like Google, Microsoft, and IBM. Indian physicians comprise nearly 6% of America's entire doctor workforce. The talent infusion filled critical gaps in laboratories, classrooms, medical facilities, and startup incubators across the nation. The numbers don't lie. Why this policy makes no economic sense. Here's where Trump's strategy reveals a fundamental flaw that experts are calling economically devastating. Government data from 2023 shows that newly hired H-1B employees earned a median salary of $94,000, while existing visa holders commanded $129,000. Since the punitive fee targets newcomers, most won't even earn enough to cover the government's price tag. Gil Guerra, an immigration policy analyst at the Niskanen Center, delivers this sobering assessment. Since the latest White House directive indicates that the fee would only apply to new H-1B recipients, this is more likely to cause medium and long-term labor shortages instead of immediate disruption. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. India might actually weather this storm better than America. The plot twist: who really gets hurt? Indian outsourcing behemoths like Tata Consultancy Services and Infosys have been preparing for exactly this scenario for years, systematically building local American workforces and shifting operations back to offshore locations. The statistics tell a fascinating story of strategic adaptation. While Indians still capture 70% of H-1B approvals, only 3 of the top 10 H-1B dependent employers maintained Indian connections in 2023, down dramatically from 6 companies in 2016. India's $283 billion information technology sector certainly faces challenges from this visa fee explosion, particularly given that American clients generate over half their revenue. Industry organization NASSCOM warns that the policy could disrupt business continuity for certain onshore projects, forcing clients to renegotiate pricing or postpone initiatives until legal uncertainties resolve. Aditya Narayan Mishra from CIEL HR, a prominent staffing organization, predicts Indian companies will simply transfer the increased visa expenses directly to their American clients. With employers reluctant to commit to the heavy cost of sponsorship, the real victims, American industries and students. Here's what makes this policy potentially catastrophic for America. The ripple effects will devastate sectors already facing critical shortages. Hospitals struggling with physician shortages will find recruiting international doctors nearly impossible. Universities will lose their appeal to international STEM students. Startup companies lacking the lobbying influence of tech giants will suffer the most severe impact. David Beer, Director of Immigration Studies at the Cato Institute, delivers this damning verdict. It will force U.S. companies to radically change their hiring policies and offshore a significant amount of their work. It will also ban founders and CEOs coming to manage U.S.-based businesses. It will deal a devastating blow to U.S. innovation and competitiveness. The timing couldn't be worse for Indian students, who represent 1 in 4 international students in American universities. Sudhanshu Kaushik, founder of the North American Association of Indian Students, representing 25,000 members across 120 universities, describes the psychological impact. It felt like a direct attack because the fees are already paid. So there's a big sunk cost of anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 per student. And the most lucrative route to entering the American workforce has now been obliterated. The economic reality check. Here's the number that should terrify policymakers. H-1B visa holders and their families inject approximately $86 billion annually into the American economy, including $24 billion in federal payroll taxes and $11 billion in state and local taxes. This policy essentially taxes one of America's most productive demographic segments out of existence. GETA warns about uneven consequences that could unfold over time. The demand for new workers in fields like tech and medicine is projected to increase. And given how specialized and critical these fields are, a shortage that lasts even a few years could have a serious impact on the U.S. economy and national well-being. The legal battle ahead. Immigration attorneys expect Trump's policy to face immediate legal challenges. But here's where it gets really controversial. The executive order allows certain companies to receive exemptions. GETA raises a troubling possibility. If heavy H-1B users such as Amazon, Apple, Google, and Meta all get exemptions, this would largely defeat the purpose of the fee. This creates a potentially explosive two-tier system, where tech giants with political connections continue accessing global talent while smaller competitors get shut out entirely. The bottom line? America's self-inflicted wound. As the dust settles from this policy earthquake, one question emerges. Will this measure strengthen American competitiveness or hand a strategic advantage to countries with more welcoming immigration policies? This H-1B shakeup looks less like a tax on foreign workers and more like a stress test for American economic leadership. How companies and universities respond will determine whether the United States maintains its position as the global innovation hub or watches talent flow to more accommodating destinations. What do you think? Is Trump's H-1B fee hike a necessary correction to protect American workers, or a short-sighted policy that will ultimately harm American competitiveness? Will this policy force beneficial changes in how companies approach hiring, or will it simply drive innovation offshore? Share your thoughts. This debate is far from over, and the economic consequences will unfold for years to come.